The fire started on a Tuesday, not a real fire, but the kind that ignites quietly, unexpectedly, when life feels coldest. It happened the moment Claire stepped into the dim, oil-scented auto shop on the outskirts of Tucson, Arizona, her heels clicking against concrete still wet from the early morning wash. Her chest was tight from the stress of a failing division at her company and the remnants of a breakup that had carved more silence than healing in her life. She was a manager, a leader, someone who always had answers, yet lately, she carried the hollow weight of someone who had none. And then she saw her, Jordan Hayes, the shop's head mechanic, her navy coveralls streaked with grease, her dark hair pulled back, her expression hardened by years of surviving things she never talked about. But in her eyes, steady, confident, unshaken, there was a calm that hit Claire like a warm breath on a cold night. She didn't know it then, but this woman, this stranger tightening bolts on a stranger's car, was about to fix more than metal. She was about to fix something Claire thought was beyond repair. Speech balloon. Before we go deeper into the story, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the unexpected ways people enter our lives, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive. Claire had arrived that morning because her company was partnering with small local businesses, and this auto shop was one of the new additions to her district. She was supposed to conduct a routine evaluation, make sure operations were up to standard, assess financial stability, simple tasks she could normally do in her sleep. But lately, nothing felt simple. Not after the betrayal from her ex, not after months of pretending she was fine, not after losing the version of herself who used to wake up feeling strong. She walked through the shop trying to steady her attention, but her focus returned again and again to Jordan's quiet confidence. There was a steadiness in the mechanic's movements, like she was connected to the engines she worked on, understanding them in ways people rarely understand each other. What Claire didn't realize was that Jordan noticed her too. She noticed the way Claire tried to look composed, the way she tucked a loose strand of chestnut hair behind her ear every time she felt herself losing balance, the way her smile never fully reached her eyes. Jordan wasn't someone who usually paid attention to strangers. Her own life had taught her to stay guarded, growing up in a rough pocket of Indiana, aging out of foster care with no family and no safety net. She fought her way into stability with nothing but hard work and a stubborn refusal to give up. Feelings, romance, vulnerability, those were luxuries she had never been able to afford. Yet something about Claire's quiet sadness pulled at her like gravity. Their first interactions were professional, but beneath every small exchange, something unspoken grew. Claire admired Jordan's integrity, how she treated customers with respect, how she never overcharged, how she took pride in doing things right instead of fast. And Jordan admired Claire's determination. Even in her exhaustion, she took care of people, looked out for employees, and carried the weight of responsibility on her shoulders with grace. They didn't know each other well, yet each sensed something familiar in the other, strength built from wounds that had never fully healed. Weeks passed, and Claire's visits to the shop became more frequent. At first, it was work-related, but gradually, she found excuses, checking inventory reports, discussing partnership numbers, asking about customer flow. She didn't know how to say she just wanted to be near the one place where life didn't feel so heavy. Jordan didn't question it, she simply let Claire stay, offering her the dusty old office chair whenever she needed a break. She didn't speak much, but her presence was strangely comforting, solid, warm, grounding. Then came the day everything changed. Claire arrived looking more fragile than Jordan had ever seen her. Her hands trembled as she held her phone, and her eyes were rimmed red from tears she tried to hide. She had just learned that the corporate office planned to shut down 3 small partner shops due to budget cuts, and this one was on the list. She fought for them, argued for them, presented numbers and projections, but none of it mattered. Her company wanted profit over people, efficiency over community. And the weight of that decision, knowing Jordan and the others would lose their livelihoods, felt like a betrayal she couldn't bear. Jordan didn't ask questions. She simply wiped her hands on a towel and motioned for Claire to sit on the stoop behind the shop where the desert breeze softened the heat. Claire broke down then, silently, tears falling in the spaces between her words. She felt ashamed that she couldn't protect the people she cared about, ashamed that she couldn't fix everything the way Jordan fixed engines. Jordan sat beside her, not touching, not speaking, just being there with a steadiness that filled all the cracks Claire thought would swallow her. It wasn't romantic. Not yet. It was human. Something shifted that day, something fragile, precious, and undeniably real. From that point on, they didn't try to hide their connection. They found themselves sharing small pieces of their lives, Claire speaking about the loneliness she carried despite appearing successful, Jordan revealing how she spent years believing she wasn't meant to be loved deeply. They didn't rush anything, but their bond grew naturally, like a slow sunrise warming the cold edges of their worlds. As the shop closure deadline approached, Claire fought fiercely to reverse the decision. She gathered customer testimonials, documented the shop's honesty and community impact, and argued relentlessly with executives who cared only about spreadsheets. She worked late nights, skipped meals, and risked her own position, but she didn't care. She believed in Jordan's team. She believed in Jordan, and when she delivered the news that the closure had been overturned, that the shop would remain open because of her efforts, Jordan didn't say anything at first. She simply looked at Claire with an expression so full, so vulnerable, that Claire felt something inside her break open. Jordan's voice was quiet when it finally came, but it carried a softness rarely heard from her, a thank you spoken not just for the shop, but for being someone who cared. The shift from connection to love didn't happen dramatically. It happened in gentle moments, the way Claire brought Jordan lunch when she forgot to eat, the way Jordan fixed Claire's car without charge and left a note saying she deserved to feel safe on the road, the way they stood a little closer each time they spoke. Love bloomed like something inevitable, but love also brought fear. Claire, afraid of losing someone again. Jordan, afraid of being someone's burden. They both hesitated, looking at each other from across the line their hearts had drawn. And then one evening, after the shop had closed, Claire found Jordan sitting alone at the workbench, shoulders tense, eyes shadowed with fear she tried to hide. Jordan admitted then, haltingly, honestly, that she didn't know how to be loved the right way, that she didn't know if she was enough for someone like Claire. Claire stepped closer, her voice barely above a whisper as she said she wasn't asking for perfect. She was asking for real. And in that moment, Jordan let her guard fall for the first time in years. That night didn't end with passion or dramatic declarations. It ended with two women sitting side by side on the floor of an auto shop, leaning gently into each other, letting the quiet say what words couldn't. It was the beginning of something steady and healing, something built not on fantasy, but on understanding. Months passed, and their relationship grew into something strong. Claire regained her confidence, Jordan learned to trust that love didn't always disappear. They built a life that wasn't flawless but was honest and warm. Claire helped the shop expand its outreach and improve its systems, and Jordan taught Claire how to slow down, breathe, and let herself be cared for. They healed each other in places neither had shown anyone else. Their love wasn't loud or flashy. It was real. And that made it extraordinary. A speech balloon. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps these emotional stories reach more people who need them.